Señoras y señores, nos encontramos con un directivo de sección 8 que salió del Chicago Fire y ahora hay otra directiva. Ben, welcome to Lamaquinadeportiva.com. I was just making the introduction of folks that follow Lamaquinadeportiva.com, saying that you are departed, no more on the board, but there is a new board in place. So tell us a little bit about it.
First, I've been around on the board for 5 years. I helped form it, so it's been a long time for me, and I'm glad to be able to take a few minutes, a season or two off from having a responsibility. But everybody who's on the board now are people that I've known for quite a number of years, and I've worked with them already, and they've helped me immensely. So I'm very excited to see them get a chance to step up and work, not just helping me, but on their own, with their own initiatives, because they're intelligent people, they're smart people, and they love the Fire at least as much as I do, and they're going to give it their all, and I think it's a great step.
When you said give it their all and a lot of smart people, first of all, it's a three-part question. How many members does Section 8 have currently?
We don't have membership. We don't track membership. We know how many season tickets are sold in the section. We know how big our email list is, but we don't, as of yet, officially require people to register. We keep an open mind. We think anybody in the stadium who wants to be considered a supporter should be considered a supporter, and it would be wrong for us to limit who those people are. I think we know lots of supporters who don't even live in Chicago, who can't make very many games, that we consider them supporters as well. In terms of day of game, there's at least 1,000 hardcore people. Usually 1,000. We saw in the playoffs as many as 2,500 show up in the Parliament to sing. But again, we don't just limit our mentality to those who can stand and sing. There's people all over, club seat holders in the balcony who maybe only come to 2 games a year who love the Fire as much as us. So we want to incorporate them as well.
Now, part two, you mentioned smart people on the new board. What do you think when you step down? Is it because to keep a democratic way to elect a new board, or how does that work?
The chairman position does have a 3-year term limit, and I did 3 years. We set it up that way because you want new ideas eventually, and you don't want one person to take control. There's a lot of money that goes through the organization, and there could be some people who are not so honest that you don't want them to stick around forever. We've seen that in the past with other groups, and we don't want to see that happen with this. For the chairman, there is the term limit, but yes, a democratic process is very important to make sure it's open to anyone. Anybody who wants to step up and help take that next level is welcome.
When you said that other ideas, fresh ideas, where do you see in 2010 Section 8 perhaps growing? And I understand that it's one of the best sharing sections in MLS.
It's an exciting,
if not the best one.
Thank you. We like to think we're pretty good. I think we're moving into an exciting time. We've had a couple of years with the changing stadiums, changing ownership, changing leadership in the front office, and for the last 6 months, we finally had a working relationship with a team that I think we can grow. And they're going to help us grow, and we're going to help them. And we've never, not in quite a number of years, had that relationship where the two entities were on the same page. So this next year, it's very exciting. Any idea we have, the team is going to help us work with, and that we can just see, instead of growing 10% a year, maybe we'll double. So.
Now, I don't mean to put you on the spot, but where do you see the team this year as far as a new head coach, a lot of new players, they don't have a franchised player as of now?
Right.
Where do you see and I hope Andrew watches this,
yes,
and he doesn't come back and yeah, hello Andrew, he doesn't veto me from asking this question. But no, all seriously, what do you see the team as far as the 2010 season chances?
Well, I've spoken a lot with Frank Lopez, the technical director, and I'm excited by the players he brought in. I don't think it's very common for a team in MLS to bring in several 23, 24-year-old players who already have experience in Europe, already have experience on their national teams. We brought in some very experienced players. I think the players we have are good enough to win MLS Cup. The big change was the coach, obviously, and I've also been lucky enough to meet him, and he seems like a fantastic gentleman. I have no doubt he can lead the group. So I think when you put a coach together with these new players, as long as the players play up to at least their ability, if we don't make MLS Cup, it'll be a huge disappointment.
As far as the coach is concerned, he's got the know-how. I mean, he's got the experience. He brought El Salvador to a new level, and other teams in Mexico. And I think personally, I had met him. I had interviewed him in the El Salvador national team when he was obviously with the current run for the World Cup. And of course, he's a gentleman. He first and foremost, he's a professional, and he knows the game. And I think he's good. He is good for the team.
I absolutely agree. And I mean, it's hard to tell this early on, but from what little I've seen, I got to see one practice, and I've met him a couple of times, and I've spoken to some of the players who shall remain nameless, but they seem excited by him. So if he can rally the players behind himself, they'll play for him. And I think Frank Lopez brought in very talented players. And if they're willing to play for what looks to be a very talented coach, we're going to have a very successful year.
Now, leaving the team a little bit behind, what's next for you? What are you going to be? What's your role now?
Maybe I'll be able to watch a game without being distracted by the problems.
Okay, now obviously the World Cup. Now, folks, we are planning something with Ben Carlo Gifoni, our partner in Lamaquinadeportiva.com for the games, World Cup coming up. So stay tuned for that. We're still negotiating very hard here with Ben, and hopefully he can make that happen. But that'll be happening pretty soon. And I do appreciate taking the time for this interview, Ben, and wish you nothing but the best. And continue your success, and whatever you do, I'm sure you're gonna be there.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure.